I'd like to talk a little bit about pick techniques. Seeing as how the right hand is where really most of your speed is going to come from. And the pick all by itself needs to come in contact with the string. In its most extreme form, the farther out you hold your pick, the less leverage you are going to be able to exert onto the string from your hand. The closer you hold the pick to your fingers is the word coefficient. You get a stronger ratio of strength from your hand being distributed to the strings. When I'm playing, that's all the pick that shows. It's so close that my finger here touches the string slightly. I can feel it behind my pick. It's very close. Looking down on it, sorry about this angle, I'm trying to work this camera here. The tip of the pick looks almost like it's an extension of the flat part of this knuckle. In the hand, there's an opening here that shows not only that the hand is relaxed, but if I can show you from the side, where this finger intersects the thumb is important, so that you can have some articulation like this when needed. And so this finger, your index finger, as it crosses underneath, crosses at about the base of the cuticle here. Sorry, move back out here so you can see. So you get a lot of leverage that way, and also you get some movement in the finger this way if needed. And when your arm comes to the guitar to play, let me turn sideways here. When your arm comes to the guitar, it should almost be like an old phonograph needle. And I am a proponent of resting a pinky or a couple fingers lightly on the bass, on the top of the guitar, pick guard, finger rest, what have you, in order to understand the depth of my hand and to give it a place to move effortlessly over the strings. Without that depth gauge, I have to incorporate a lot more muscle in my arm and shoulder and in my hand to tell where the string is. But as soon as I put my finger down, my hand has a depth, a built-in depth gauge, like a phonograph needle would. As you advance or you get into certain techniques, you can lift those fingers off, but I wouldn't recommend it until you're very advanced in your picking technique. See, there's how my fingers rub right there. You can see how little of the pick I'm using, just a sliver. And if I were to open up my hand, you can see that's how it looks on my finger. If my finger is pointed at 12 o'clock, the pick is almost, sorry about this, I'm trying to use the built-in camera on my computer. The pick is almost over at 2:30, close to 3 o'clock. It crisscrosses, my hands crisscross the fat part of the pick, which gives me a lot of leverage. I'm barely holding it on and you can't hardly grab that pick out of my hand. I'm a proponent of heavy picks that don't bend, because you can play light with a heavy pick, but you cannot play heavy with a light pick. Okay, the right hand. your hand isn't like this where you're moving from the top of the wrist. If you'll notice that your hand is built to move up like this better than like this. So guys who anchor their hands in on top of the bridge, there's great guitarists that do that. Larry Carlton comes to mind, and Pat Metheny. They work their wrists this way, and even though they're fabulous guitarists and play faster than I do, I wouldn't want to teach their technique. A great guitarist that you could look at, and he has a good video and he speaks about holding a pick, is Eric Johnson. I think if you looked at Eric Johnson and Yngwie Malmsteen, guys like that, they get some good close-ups of their right hand. It's very efficient. I think that your picking technique, single notes, and your chords should be the same thing. Not a lot of moving parts. You can get a lot of velocity, and you can go from light to heavy. And I think these are important things to consider when you're dealing with your right hand. It's very hard to film, but let's talk about the angle of the pick to the strings. I think it's wrong to have the pick be parallel with the strings. My pick angle goes across the strings both ways at an angle. Therefore, it doesn't get caught. And there's no need to do finger stuff like that for individual notes. It goes down, it goes up, and it strums nice that way. If you have a pick angle, let me try to show you that. If your pick is like parallel to the strings, you're going to catch. But if it's at an angle to the strings, you tend to slide. That's the principle. You don't want to catch. And with the tip of the pick, you'll get enough material on there if you want to bite in. That's my thoughts on holding a pick.